I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about plank pose. It's one that is in many vinyasa sequences. It features in sun salutations, of course. But I often see people taking it in such a way that troubles me a little, in that we tend to really load the shoulders up. A lot of injuries that happen in yoga are shoulder injuries. So I thought it would be good just to take a little bit of time to unpack plank pose a little bit and give you a few pointers about how you might build yourself towards taking full plank without putting too much undue stress on the shoulders in particular. So just approaching it with a little bit more awareness, I suppose. Now, oftentimes, in fact, probably most of the time, when we come into plank pose, we're coming from downward dog. So we've got quite a bit of a space between the hands and the feet in downward dog. And let's just take a moment in this shape to soften into the elbows, creating a little bit of a bend in the elbows, scooping the elbow tips together. And you'll notice when you do that, the shoulder blades change position a little bit. If we keep the knees a little bit soft too, it helps us keep the spine long rather than rounding the back. So in moving into plank pose, let's bring the shoulders over the hands and drop the knees down to the mat now, up on the toes. Now, this is different from cat pose, of course, because in cat, your hands are going to be a bit closer to your knees and you're going to be making more of a square shape. In our knees down plank, the hands are further away, shoulders are over the hands. We're up on the toes. Creating that little bit of softness in the elbows again really helps. We're going to scoop the elbow tips together. Now, I often see people with their head hanging down low or the gaze really high, cranking up the neck. What I would like you to consider is running a long line between the knees and the crown and finding your neutral spine here. You might even imagine like a silk cord from the knees to the top of the crown. And when you can find that neutral position for the spine, you can draw the belly in and engage the muscles of the back so you're completely supported 360 degrees. This is a really good way of taking plank pose while you're getting used to the shape. And when the time comes that you want to bring a little more weight bearing into it, you can then lift your knees off the mat and you'll find that nothing really changes between the knees and the crown. There is a little more load on the shoulders, of course, and we're using the legs more, but the actual shape of the spine doesn't change at all from this to this. And I'd really like to suggest that while you're getting used to moving into plank this way, that you do keep your knees down and give your body some time to really get used to that position before loading up. Because when we load up, I see, again, coming in from downward dog, I see a lot of this business with the bottom high in the air. And I see a lot of this business too with the pelvis really dropping down low, which is going to put a lot of pressure on your lower back as well as your shoulders. Plank is, as the word would suggest, about being long and even from the heels to the crown. So if you're guilty as charged about taking plank with your bottom elevated or with the pelvis dropping down low, really consider just spending some time with knees down, taking it in the more simple version to get the body used to that shape, and then eventually work your way to lifting the knees off the mat and loading it up a little, and see if that really helps you find some more ease and stability in the pose.